Hello and welcome to Boulder Dash on the C64, and this came out in 1984, so a reasonably early-ish game for the C64, and originally it came out on the Atari 8-bit computers and was then converted to all the other systems of the time. And let's get started. So the idea is that you take control of Rockford, this little guy here, and what you have to do is, if I just pause the game, if I can remember how to pause it, there we go. The idea is that you've got to complete each cave, and there's 16 caves in total, and I think it's 5 different difficulty levels. And what you have to do is collect the necessary amount of gems before the door will open, and that's it at its most simplest. But the game does introduce more elements as the levels progress, so it's not quite as simple as it first looks. And so let's get started. So the first cave is pretty easy. I guess it's pretty similar to Dig Dug and Mr. Do, those sort of games, those arcade games where, you know, there's boulders that will drop on top of you unless you're careful, and you've got to collect gems. I mean, it's pretty similar to those sort of games initially, but as I say, more elements do appear, but this being the first level, it's pretty straightforward. And at the top left, there's a screen that tells us how many gems we have to collect. So I've collected 9 so far. We only have to collect 12 before the exit opens. Yeah, so the screen's flashed there. That means the exit's now open. But you can get more points if you collect more before you get to the exit. But you've got to watch the time limit. There's a time limit. You can see it ticking down there. Also, you've got to get to the... Of course, if you lose a life, it does send you all the way back to the start, which is a little... It can be a little frustrating, but as I said, there's only 16 levels, so it's you know, you've got to be careful. So it can get a little frustrating, but not in a bad way, I think, because normally it is your fault. You kind of realise it when you've blown it. Now Rockford, he can actually stand underneath a boulder. It's only if it's got any momentum that it will kill him. And unlike many of these sort of games, you can actually push boulders as well if there's a space next to it. You can push it along. There's a free space behind it. Yeah, so I think graphically it's pretty good, especially for 1984. I think it looks pretty smart. Unfortunately, I'm a bit rusty at this. I haven't really played it much in recent years. It's one of these games I never had back in the day, but I did play it when I got into emulation a few years back, but well, a few years ago now. But I didn't play it as much as I should have probably. I sort of stumbled across it again recently. I think I must have seen it somewhere, and I thought I'll give it another go. And I'm quite glad I did, but yeah, I'm still trying to get back into it. But I've certainly never completed it. Yeah, so the graphics I think are still pretty good. Obviously not the best you're going to see in the C64, but I mean, they're nicely drawn, and Rockford himself, he's got a bit of character. And if you used to read the Zap 64 magazine back in the day, you would Rockford was one of the little characters that used to appear in the margins. I can't remember what that. I think that means an extra life. Yeah, he's one of the little guys I used to draw in the margins. He used to be Thing in a Spring and Rockford. So on to the next level. pretty much the same graphics, they just change the colour schemes. Now I can't remember what's introduced in this level. There might be an enemy floating around. Yeah, there he is. Got to try and not release him. Yeah, sound effects, yeah, they are a bit basic. There's quite a sort of funky little tune on the title screen that is quite memorable. It would have been nice to maybe have some in-game music, but I guess it's alright. Gameplay, yeah, the controls are a little, because he moves in sort of character blocks, they feel a little sluggish at times maybe, just for him to react, but you get used to it. And where the game really shines is in the actual design, the game design and the level design. It's probably not immediately obvious, but it's really well thought out. Each cave, you know, as I say, they introduce new elements, and it's very well thought out. I really don't want to release this guy. Right, so that's the exit open. And on to the next level. Yeah, so the game's had tons of sequels over the years, but I mean, the core gameplay is pretty much there, the same throughout. I think it was a PC version, at least not too many years ago. So it's still pretty active with the franchise, if you want to call it that. How do you get out of here? Now if you get stuck, you can, I think, press run stop to restart the level. Yep, so I don't want to show you too much because it's worth, if you've never played it, it's worth just giving it a go and experience it for yourself. It's worth reading through the manual because it does go through how to complete each level. I mean, there's some elements like invisible walls and things like that, which just give you an idea. But the manual does describe each level and what you have to do and what the things, what elements are in it. So yeah, that's Boulder Dash for you. It's still a great game to play, and I'm definitely going to play it a bit more to try and complete it. So I'll give it 9 out of 10. I think it's still a great game. Recommended. And yeah, it's been a bit of a relief to play a decent game after all the crappy dual-mark games that I've played recently. So yep, 9 out of 10 for Boulder Dash, and see you in the next video.